Hey everyone, Travis Hightower, your Denver real estate agent. Today I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 buyer contingencies when you're under contract in a real estate transaction. But before I get started, I wanted to acknowledge the time that you've put into discovering what your perfect house looks like. I want to acknowledge that it's not easy to do this, but it's very exciting and fun once you let the process unfold. And so thanks for your commitment, and your reward in following this process, being committed to the process, is knowing what you want and walking into that house and being able to have clarity to take action and actually submit an offer and try to win that deal. And today I'm going to talk about what it looks like once we're under contract, once we've won that deal and put it together. And so the top 3 buyer contingencies start off with the inspection. Now the inspection typically happens in the first 7 to 10 days. And I like to keep that tempo pretty high, assuming we've kept that tempo high with the listing agent to win the deal. Now, if we have had a great tempo and cadence with them in putting the deal together, I might shoot this in that 3 to 5 day timeline to get the inspections done and then start negotiating any items that come up that we want to resolve. And so the format for any inspection items that come up is once we get the radon test, the sewer scope, the actual inspection report, we're going to look at that together and determine what items need to be repaired. And we're going to submit that in an objection to the seller saying, hey seller, we would like you to fix these items before closing. And the resolution that we come to would be either the seller deciding to fix those and delivering the house repaired to you when you close, or they might reduce the purchase price and actually reduce that amount so you can pay less for the home in lieu of the repairs. Now, in some instances, if there's a lot of items that we're negotiating and we're not able to come up with a fair resolution, then the deal actually would terminate. And that would be a case where, let's say there's a lot of repairs that you're facing and the seller's just not negotiable on trying to repair them or give you a price reduction to make that a win-win, a fair deal. And that would be an instance where you walked away. And really during this part of the process, number 1, the inspection, we're checking on the condition of the house. We're making sure it's going to be what you expect it to be, that you're not going to be walking into a bunch of repairs, a bunch of expenses that you didn't anticipate. And so that's what we're checking off here on the first most important buyer contingency. Number 2, to me, is the appraisal. The appraisal happens in that 14 to 28 day timeline. Most of these are going to happen in that 3-week timeline, around 21 days. And what we're checking here is the value. This is a little easier process compared to inspection, fewer moving parts, but essentially we're going to have the lender order the appraisal. They're going to deliver that appraisal before the deadline. We're going to review that as well as the lender and make sure that the value is equivalent to or above the purchase price. And if the value is less than the purchase price, we're going to have to deal with that via an objection. And then the seller is going to have to work with us on reducing the price to sell it to us, or we're going to have to come up with some resolution that works for all parties to be able to close that transaction. Now I want to say with this, if ever an appraisal comes in higher than the purchase price, that doesn't change the purchase price up. This is in instances where the value comes in lower than the purchase price and the lender's not willing to finance the deal at the price that we've agreed on. So we have to come up with a resolution to be able to hit the value and close and make that happen. And the third and last is actually the loan contingency here. This is really checking to make sure that we have final loan approval and that we're going to be able to close with the rate, terms, and cost that you expected when you first started this process. And this occurs 3 to 5 days before closing. It's really pushed far out there because we have a lot of things that we have to take care of before then. We've got to get the appraisal done. We've got to get all the title work stuff done. We've got to pull all this together. The lender's got to get through all the qualification stuff, your income, all of those pieces of the puzzle like fit into this and then allow us to get final approval with the terms that you're looking for, and then we get to close. So this is why this is pushed out 3 to 5 days before closing. So to recap, we've got 3 different buyer contingencies that are super important. 1, inspection. 2, the appraisal contingency. Number 3, the final loan review. Now I want to tell you that there's a lot of different dates and deadlines in the contract, like insurance deadlines, due diligence deadlines, title deadlines, all sorts of different things that flow into the actual purchase agreement. but these are the top 3 that I really want to share with you because they're the areas that I focus on the most. I want to make sure that the house is the right condition for you, or I'm going to negotiate with the seller to make sure that it's a deal you still want to pursue. Second to that is making sure that we're going to hit the value, that we've got a price that's below the appraised value or at the appraised value, so you can feel good about this house, so you can feel great when you're purchasing it here. And last, making sure that the loan is approved, that you're not going to be losing your earnest money in the last bit of this transaction, and that you're going to get the rate, terms, and costs that you expected. You're not going to have any surprises, and we can close at the numbers that you expected when you first started this process. And so I wanted to wrap it up with that, sharing the top 3 buyer contingencies once you're under contract, and then also talk to you a little bit about next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about time savers and hacks. Once you've purchased that perfect house and you're moving into it and you're starting to make it your very own, I want to share some time savers and ways that you can really make that transaction easy, save time, and put your energy into getting your house set up fully where you want it to be, and then enjoy it and be able to enjoy the perfect house that you envisioned when we first started this process and you're actually closed. So have an amazing day. Travis Hightower signing off. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.